Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my weekly Instagram live where we talk about parenting, mother's growth and development. Every week, alhamdulillah, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'm glad to see everyone here. The way this works, we're gonna start. I'll give it just a minute or two for everybody to trickle in. We usually start with the dua, and then I wait for you to share with me your questions regarding parenting and your own growth as a mother and your own healing and development. And then if there's no questions, then inshallah, I'll share with you some questions that I get from my followers through email or through DMs. So Decoded Heim, I do offer coaching sessions. However, I have to say, not specifically to marriage. I do talk a lot about marriage in my content because it's such a crucial, important aspect of parenting, and it affects our parenting to such a deep extent. But I wouldn't say I am a marriage coach. So if you have questions regarding your own growth and your own development as a mother and how to overcome your triggers and parenting specifically, then yes, I do offer one-on-one sessions. The link is in my bio through my link tree, but not specifically marriage counseling or marriage coaching. All right, let's get started. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Inshallah, we all can set our intention to be here for the sake of Allah, learning and bettering ourselves for His sake, so we can raise the families that He subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with. And inshallah, it benefits us both in this life and the next. I'm waiting here for your questions. Usually I can take 2 to 3 questions, depending on how long it takes for me to answer those. But if not, I have a question here, so I'll give it just another minute. Welcome everyone. Welcome Sister Alia, Mariam. Alhamdulillah, good to see you all here. Jazakallah khair, sister. Jazakallah khair. May Allah reward us all. It's not, I always tell my fellow sisters, even during sessions that I have here, like coaching sessions or workshops here in my community, I tell them I'm not just here to teach you, but I learn so much from others that join, alhamdulillah, even if it's on Instagram Live, even if it's just your questions. I benefit from it, and parenting is one of those things you never get to the end, right? It's not like I learned it, I'm there, khalas, the work is done. It's always work. In fact, today I actually had some reflections. I had a very, very tough day today. Homeschooling was really difficult. I felt that I was a little on the edge. And so after everything was done, just right before joining, I took some time and I went and sat on my porch and I was reflecting, and I thought, why was this happening to me? So even as a parent coach, as a mother of 4 kids, 16 years of parenting, alhamdulillah, homeschooling them, we are going to have those days. We're not immune from it. It's more of how do you approach it in the future? How do you shift? How do you get yourself out of that mindset? That low frequency that they say, you know, the pessimistic, negative mindset, and how do you bring the changes, subhanAllah. So I'm here for you, alhamdulillah, for all of us. May Allah make it beneficial for us all. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. All right, so no questions. I have a question here that was sent to me. A sister asked, is it normal for teenagers to push you away? Meaning, is it normal for my teenager to push me away as their parent? And so the answer is yes and no. Depends how you look at it. If your teenager is completely isolating himself, he or herself, not talking to you anymore, and just totally, wants to be left by himself, by herself, then that is something to analyze deeper and look further to, like, what's going on, who is he hanging out with, what's his social life outside the home, how is home life going, what is he struggling with, how is his health going. And so if it's to that extent, yes, it's a concern, and I would highly recommend that you seek help, or just try to have more conversations. Just see if you can get more out of him or her, and see where the struggle is, what's going on, because it could be something deeper. But if you are talking about teenagers not like wanting to be around you just like they used to when they were 6, 7, 8, if they're kind of becoming more and more often irritated about how you talk to them or the rules that you set, if you feel pushback, the teenager questioning every decision that you make, every advice that you give, then that, I have to say, dear parents, is very normal. And subhanAllah, there's a couple of sides to this. So when children enter the adolescence ages, they call it the teenage years, right? SubhanAllah, by the design of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they push you a little bit away. And science has proven this, that in the teenage years, in the adolescence years, it's actually very normal for children to be more interested in peers and their friends than in you, the parent. And that hurts, right? I mean, we are used to being the center of this child's world, especially when they're little, and even up until age 10 and 11, they are so interested in being with us. Whether we try to organize an outing with them, or play games with them, or, just joke around, they are so interested. But subhanAllah, as soon as the teenage years come, you feel rejection, right? And it hurts as a parent. But like I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's design was this way for us to let go a little bit of our children. Otherwise, I feel like every parent, the way we used to parent our kids when they're 9, 10, 11, we would hold on to them and decide every decision for them and make their choices for them, subhanAllah. And that is unhealthy for a young adult who has to now learn to create his or her own family and make their own decisions and, make big life decisions for this unit of a family and society. And so as parents, we're kind of forced by the creation and the design of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to let go a little bit of the kids. And that only happens, whether we like it or not, that only happens if we see a reaction from our children, right? And so I have experienced this firsthand, and if you are a parent of a teenager, an adolescent, you know how that goes, subhanAllah. We're used to our normal ways of parenting that we consider normal, right? And then there comes a point where all of a sudden you see this backlash from your child, or they tell you that you need to back off, or they show it with just attitude. And so it's an opportunity for us as parents to reflect and think, okay, maybe I do need to change course. Maybe there is, and subhanAllah, whether we like it or not, we are kind of forced into doing this. And again, that is the creation and design of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, we would hold on to our kids like forever, like they're babies, and just make all the decisions for them and parent them as if they're still little. So yes and no to that question. If they're pushing away the parent and it's in a way where they are totally isolating themselves and they don't look happy anymore, they don't look healthy anymore, something's going on, school performance is suffering, they're not around other friends much, they just want that isolation, then I would be concerned about that, and yes, I would seek help. But if it's just like the normal teenage behaviors, which to a parent who's becoming, who is raising a teenager for the first time, it does come to a surprise. And for a period of time, you think something's going on, something's wrong. And then you realize as you see other parents dealing with teenagers and your own kids getting there, you realize that this is very normal. And so then it becomes a job for us to really become okay with it, right? We have to train ourselves to not be triggered, to have more patience, to be more of a friend to them and understand that this is a stage and it will pass, subhanAllah. I talk more and more to parents who say that in the teenage years, their kids kind of try to separate themselves and, exercise that autonomy and be their own person. And then subhanAllah, by the age 21, 22, they turn back and they find interest again in the parents, in the home. So, yes, if there is a concern of something deeper, seek help. Otherwise, it's just work on ourselves, inshallah. Okay, I saw a question coming in. So a sister said, do you think it'd be beneficial in this case? I want to be a mom someday, but I want a more nurturing mindset from now and overcome triggers that may negatively impact in the future. Subhanallah, sister, Decoded Haim, I cannot recommend anything more than it's never too early to start learning about parenting. I felt like when I started, and I think I started pretty early, the moment I knew I was pregnant with my first child, I started reading all the books, I started taking courses, and even then I felt like I was chasing something that was running away from me too fast. So I was trying to get educated and caught up on every stage that my child was getting to, and I felt like I was on a hamster wheel trying to get all the information, right? I absolutely recommend that it's never ever too early to start working on yourself. And I promise you this, subhanallah, Allah is my witness, the one thing that is the most beneficial in your parenting is to work on yourself. I was on an Islamic radio show this morning that's broadcasted from South Africa, and this was one of the questions that they asked me. They said, you talk a lot about the mother's growth and development. Why is it? Why can't they just stick to parenting strategies and tools? And I told them my own story. I said, when I became a certified parent educator, a parent coach, by on paper and by rule, you have learned all the tips and tools and strategies that they teach you in parenting, right? So here I am, got my certification, and I know theoretically what is supposed to be done in every situation, but I find myself more and more in situations where I simply can't implement what I'm learning as a parent coach, or what I've learned and what I know should be working. So this set me actually to this path of starting for Muslimas. I realized that it doesn't matter how much I learn about parenting, if I am not okay and if I have triggers, I'm not going to be able to implement anything that I know about parenting. And so it took me 10 plus years. When my kids were little, I would wake up early in the morning, 5 a.m., 4:30 sometimes. My kids were early risers, so I would wake up and give myself just 10, 15 minutes. And I created this 7-step routine for myself where I made sure I took care of my mind, my body, and my soul. And so, subhanAllah, then slowly I realized, and it's been a journey, I realized that this is working. If I am continuously working on myself, I am able to be a better parent to my children, alhamdulillah. And so, I don't know who knows here, but then I created that routine that I worked on 10, 11 years. I put that into a course, 7-module course with many lessons and PDFs and checklists. And I created a course out of that. And then subhanAllah, for 3 years, that was doing great. And then finally, just 2 weeks ago, something popped in my heart, and I thought, I want this to be available for every Muslim mother that wants to work on herself so she can be the mother she has always hoped for. And so I put Unstuck for $27. Subhanallah, this was a course that was selling for over $300. And so it's now available for $27. So whoever's interested, you can find the link in my bio. You can comment the word Unstuck after we're done on this. And I'll share with you the link to sign up for the course. But that's what it comes down to. SubhanAllah, when I was sitting on my porch just right now and I was reflecting on why today was so difficult and why I was feeling so on the edge, I could pinpoint exactly the mindset I had today and the triggers and what was causing me to feel triggered. Because once you start doing the work, you just start seeing this pattern in yourself. And that gives you the opportunity to work on yourself and heal and better yourself. Because otherwise, it's like learning all the parenting strategies, but here you go, something's constantly triggering you and you can't implement what you've been learning. So, inshallah khair, I say it's never too early, sis. Just start learning, inshallah. Start learning as much as you can. Okay. Yes. One of the sisters is mentioning that parenting starts with choosing the right partner, and that is absolutely, even our deen, right, encourages us that when you choose your partner, keep in mind the children that you will be raising together. And so I would say it's super, super important to make sure that you are very diligent in doing the homework, the research that you do, and having tawakkul in Allah and making lots of dua when you're choosing a partner. Yet at the same time, sometimes two perfectly normal human beings come together in one home and somehow something's not working out. And that's not because one or the other or both are broken. It's just because they haven't learned the right way to give and take, to forego and sacrifice some of the things that are important to them, yet at the same time set really clear and healthy boundaries. And so all things that we can work on, alhamdulillah. All right, I see one more question. How to deal with sibling rivalry? Kids are fighting a lot these days. SubhanAllah, for those who are a regular on this Instagram live, this is one of the most common questions that I get, not just on the lives, but emails, DMs. People are constantly frustrated, right, with the children fighting. So I'll go into this, since this is a question from a sister, it looks like. So sibling rivalry can absolutely be exhausting to the parents, right? And so there's so many things I have. If you know that I am writing a parenting book currently, there's a whole chapter dedicated to this, to sibling rivalry and fostering a healthy and beautiful relationship between the siblings. So I have a lot to say on this, but since we are short on time, I'll give you just snippets of what you can find, inshallah, in the book eventually. So sibling rivalry is very, very exhausting to the parent. At the same time, this is something so normal. Like I just told you, it's one of the most common questions I get. And so I know from experience that when something happens in your own home, it's easy to fall into that victim mentality and think like everybody's kids are fine and everybody's doing so good and it's my kids only. It's actually all siblings in any home, they have a lot of problems with each other. This is so normal. SubhanAllah, I always say this is the training ground for them to be able to interact with adults and have good relationships in the future, to learn how to deal with other human beings, right? Now, as parents, we can go about it in a way where they actually learn those things, right? And not damage them more. So what do? First of all, accept that this is totally normal. And then when siblings are fighting, realize that one of the reasons could be that one child feels from the other child that he or she is more favored by the parents. See, the base of all parenting is connection. When these kids were entrusted to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is our job to give them the base and the connection, right? So whether your children show it to you or not, their deep desire and deep need is a connection with the parent figure. And so if that's missing, or if a child feels that the parent is favoring one child over the other, then that can cause a lot of friction between them. And this doesn't even need to be very explicit of, oh, I like your sister so much more, or I like your brother more. Children pick up on very subtle frequencies of energy. And so if it's just comparison, for example, if you just mention to one child, so say you're teaching one child that he needs to hurry up, right? When you go to school in the mornings. Now you can say, hurry up, please, because we're late every day. I want you to be faster, where I don't like coming late. But if you go about it in the following way, you say, hurry up, please. Look at your sister. She's always on time. You should learn from her. See, you conveyed the same message, but somewhere you kind of damaged the relationship there. That comment about the sister was unnecessary. That's not the point right now. You are teaching your child to improve in a certain area. And so mentioning the sister is just an add-on that is not helpful at all. And so give children their, and this is from our deen, even if a child is more beloved in your heart, we're not allowed to show it in our actions and in our words. So be very fair with them when it comes to compliments and the time that you give and how excited you are to spend time with this certain child, because children are experts. They are experts at picking up energy. They feel it. If you show more happiness, even if you don't say it with your words, if they feel you show more happiness to one child, they're going to feel it. And so try your hardest and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you're always fair to them. Now say the rivalry and the fighting still happens, right? What do you do then as a parent? So remember, we are not going to be taking sides. Most of the time I tell parents, and I know this from experience, and yes, I have messed up on this, one child comes and starts a rant and tells you what the other child has done, and it totally makes sense. And you call the other child and you scold them and you say, why did you do this? And then the other child starts his or her side, and that makes sense too. SubhanAllah. So most of the time, I feel like as parents, even if we were there, we don't even know what was going on. We don't even know what the background of this situation was, what has happened before, why are these kids fighting with each other? So for no reason, we're going to show our children that we take sides. So I always say, instead of being the police, become the middleman. What does that mean? You let each side say their story, and yes, this is going to take a lot of patience and a lot of time, and it's going to feel inconvenient, right? But this is what parenting is. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put such a high value on the parent, right? So you let one side speak, hear it all out, and you ask the other side to please stay calm, and they'll get their chance too, and then you move to the other side. See, most of the time children only want to vent. As soon as everything comes out and they notice that you are listening and paying attention and hugging them and understanding them, that's all they want. They don't even need a solution from you. And so you let each side talk, and maybe you state back to what they're saying so they feel validated. You let the other side talk, and that's it. Oh, I hear from you that you are frustrated because of this and this. Oh, I hear from you that you hit and you couldn't control yourself because this and this. And that's all it is. SubhanAllah, this way you showed the children that you're not taking sides, that you're equally invested in both, and that you understand both of them. Because let's be honest, within minutes, kids are playing again, but how we show up as a parent, it sticks in their mind. So inshallah, we can all implement that. I'm going to go back. I saw something. How should we create a safe environment for failure without making children comfortable with it? I am at the end of the time, sister, with the question about creating a safe environment for failure. I really hope, inshallah, you can join us next week again. And please maybe I can write this question down. I'm going to take a screenshot from this, actually. There you go. So maybe I can start with that question. I hope you show up next week, inshallah. Barakallahu fiki for everybody who was here. We're going to make a dua, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this from us as ibadah and guide all our children and the ummah, inshallah. May Allah help everyone who's in need. May Allah make us parents who are pleasing to Him and raise children who are the coolness of our eyes and stay on deen until the day of judgment. Ameen. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. And before I leave, I do send out 2 weekly emails to those who are on my email list, if you want to join that email list, go to the link in my bio and join the link, and then join the email list, and you'll get 2 emails from me every week, inshallah. One parenting related and one with the behind the scenes of me as a parent, entrepreneur, homeschooling mother. And inshallah, that's of benefit to you. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.